Imagine a life where every word you speak plants a seed. Some seeds grow into opportunities, others into obstacles. The truth is, our words are not just sounds or symbols. They are the foundation of our character, the blueprint of our choices, and the map for our future. The language of proactivity begins with ownership. Instead of saying, "I can't," a proactive person says, "I choose." Instead of saying, "They made me angry," they say, "I control my response." Notice the shift. In the first set of words, you give your power away. In the second, you reclaim it. You move from being a passenger in your life to being the driver of your journey. Every day, we face situations beyond our control. Traffic jams, workplace frustrations, family conflicts. Life is full of things we cannot change. But here is the liberating truth. We can choose how we respond. The proactive language reminds us that while we cannot always choose the cards we are dealt, we can choose how we play them. Words like, "I can," "I will," "I choose," "Let's find a solution." These are not just phrases, they are tools that shape your destiny. Proactivity is also about creating space between stimulus and response. When something challenges you, notice your inner dialogue. Are your words reactive or proactive? Reactive words blame, complain, and justify. Proactive words empower, initiate, and affirm. By simply changing the words you use, you change the story of your life. You stop being defined by circumstances and start defining your circumstances. Consider the ripple effect. One simple shift from "I have to," "I get to," transforms responsibility into opportunity. One shift from "I am a victim" to "I am responsible" transforms frustration into freedom. These words shape thoughts, and thoughts shape actions, and actions over time define your character, your results, and your life. The language of proactivity is not only about what we say to others, but what we say to ourselves. The inner conversation is the most powerful conversation you will ever have. Speak to yourself as the person you are capable of becoming. Speak to yourself as someone who acts, not reacts, someone who chooses, not complains, someone who creates, not waits. Remember, words are more than communication. They are commitments. Every word is a vote for the person you want to become. Use them wisely. Speak with intention. Choose words that build bridges, open doors, and inspire action. Let your language reflect the reality you want to live. Because the moment you embrace the language of proactivity, your life stops being a series of reactions. It becomes a masterpiece of conscious choice, deliberate action, and meaningful impact. You don't just navigate life, you create it, one word at a time. The words we choose are far more than mere communication. They are the very tools that shape our responsibility and influence the direction of our lives. When we speak, we are either giving away our power or claiming it, and the distinction between reactive and proactive language is crucial. Reactive language is filled with phrases like, "I can't," "It's not my fault," or "They made me do it." Each of these statements shifts responsibility outward, placing our sense of control in the hands of circumstances or other people. When we speak this way, we effectively surrender our ability to act with intention. We become passengers in our own journey, waiting for life to happen to us, rather than actively creating our path. In contrast, proactive language transforms our perspective by putting responsibility squarely where it belongs, within ourselves. Words like, "I choose," "I will," or "I am responsible," assert control over our actions and our responses. They are declarations of ownership, affirming that regardless of external conditions, we have the power to act thoughtfully and deliberately. This shift in language is not superficial. It changes the very way our brain approaches problems and decisions. By consciously adopting proactive words, we begin to see challenges not as barriers imposed by the world, but as opportunities for deliberate action and personal growth. The significance of language in shaping responsibility becomes even more apparent in moments of conflict or difficulty. Imagine a situation at work where a project fails or a deadline is missed. A reactive person might say, "It's not my fault, my team didn't support me," and immediately, frustration and blame dominate their mindset. A proactive individual, however, might respond with, "What can I do to improve this situation?" Or, "How can I ensure better results next time?" This subtle difference in wording transforms the experience from one of helplessness to one of empowerment. The first mindset focuses on what cannot be controlled, while the second focuses on the sphere of influence, on what is within reach, and on the actions that can make a difference. This principle applies not only to professional life, but to personal life as well. In relationships, financial situations, or personal health, proactive language encourages self-reflection and accountability. Saying, "I choose to take responsibility for my health," leads to active behaviors such as exercising or eating mindfully, whereas saying, "I can't get healthy because I'm too busy," fosters a passive approach that leaves outcomes to chance. Proactive language reminds us that even when circumstances are difficult or outside our control, the choices we make within them are ours alone. Over time, consistently using proactive words builds a mindset of ownership that permeates every aspect of life. It strengthens character, builds resilience, and nurtures the ability to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. Our words are the seeds of our actions, and the language of proactivity ensures that the seeds we plant are ones of empowerment, growth, and intentional living. The conversation we have with ourselves is one of the most powerful forces in our lives, yet it is often overlooked. Our inner dialogue, the words we silently speak to ourselves, shapes our thoughts, guides our decisions, and ultimately determines the quality of our actions. It is a constant stream of influence, silently directing our energy toward either growth or limitation. When our inner language is reactive, filled with blame, excuses, or negative judgments, it creates a mindset of helplessness. Words like, "I can't handle this," "this is too hard," or "I am unlucky," condition the mind to expect failure, and in doing so, they limit our capacity to act. These words act like self-imposed chains, restricting potential before action even begins. On the other hand, proactive language in our inner dialogue empowers us to take initiative, solve problems, and make deliberate choices. By telling ourselves, "I can find a way," "I am capable," or "I will take action," we shift from being passive recipients of circumstance to active creators of outcomes. This shift is subtle but profound. It is not about ignoring challenges or pretending difficulties do not exist. Rather, it is about recognizing the power we hold in how we respond to them. The mind responds to language, and positive, proactive words encourage solutions, perseverance, and resilience. Inner dialogue also acts as a filter through which we interpret the world. When our words are reactive, we see obstacles as permanent barriers and setbacks as personal failures. A minor mistake at work becomes a catastrophe, a disagreement with a friend becomes a lasting fracture, and a missed opportunity becomes proof of inadequacy. Proactive language, however, reframes these same events as learning experiences, challenges to overcome, or steps toward growth. When the inner conversation shifts from blame to responsibility, the external world feels less threatening and more navigable. The practice of cultivating proactive inner dialogue requires awareness and intentionality. It is about noticing the words we use internally and making conscious choices to redirect them toward empowerment. This may involve replacing phrases like, "I am stuck," with, "What is my next step?" or "I don't have time," with, "How can I prioritize what matters most?" Each word becomes a tool to guide thought, and each thought shapes action. Over time, this creates a feedback loop where proactive language fuels proactive behavior, which in turn reinforces confidence and capability. Moreover, the inner conversation sets the tone for our external interactions. How we speak to ourselves often reflects in how we speak to others. A person who tells themselves they are responsible and capable approaches communication with clarity, empathy, and solution-focused thinking. They respond rather than react, ask questions instead of making assumptions, and offer possibilities rather than excuses. The inner dialogue of proactivity is therefore not confined to the mind. It manifests outwardly in relationships, leadership, and influence. When we recognize the power of our inner language, we begin to understand that transformation begins from within. Our thoughts, fueled by proactive words, create patterns of behavior that ripple outward into every corner of life. The person we become is a direct reflection of the words we allow ourselves to speak, and cultivating a proactive inner dialogue is the most reliable way to ensure those words lead to action, growth, and meaningful results. The words we choose have the power to create opportunity in every area of our lives. Language is not just a tool for communication. It is a mechanism through which we shape reality. Proactive words are more than optimistic phrases. They are deliberate statements of intention that transform obstacles into possibilities and challenges into growth. When we adopt proactive language, we begin to see circumstances not as fixed barriers, but as situations we can influence. Phrases like, "Let's find a solution," "I can take the next step," or "What can I do to improve this?" are small acts of creation, signaling to ourselves and the world that we are focused on action rather than blame. The creation of opportunity begins with mindset, and mindset is largely influenced by language. Reactive language narrows perception, drawing attention to what is wrong, who is at fault, or what is impossible. Proactive language expands vision, highlighting what can be done, what options exist, and what actions are within reach. By consciously using proactive words, we open ourselves to innovation, collaboration, and resourcefulness. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" a proactive person asks, "How can I respond effectively?" This simple shift in wording redirects energy from frustration to solution, from limitation to possibility. Proactive language also fosters resilience. Life inevitably presents challenges that cannot be controlled, from unexpected changes in career to personal setbacks or global events. Reactive language encourages despair, avoidance, or blame in the face of these challenges. Proactive language, however, cultivates adaptability. Words like, "I will adjust," "I am responsible for my next step," or "I can learn from this," reinforce the idea that no matter the circumstances, we retain the power to act. Each proactive word plants a seed of agency, reminding us that even in situations beyond our control, we can influence the outcome through deliberate action and thoughtful decisions. Moreover, proactive words encourage collaboration and influence. When interacting with others, statements such as, "How can we solve this together?" or "What steps can we take next?" inspire action and engagement, rather than conflict or defensiveness. Language shapes not only personal thought but also social dynamics, and proactive words create an environment of possibility where ideas can flourish and cooperation becomes natural. The ripple effect of such language can extend far beyond the individual, affecting teams, families, and communities, and fostering a culture of accountability and initiative. The transformative power of proactive language is also evident in goal achievement. Saying, "I choose to pursue this goal," rather than, "I hope it works out," aligns thought with action. Words like, "I will take responsibility for progress," embed a sense of commitment that drives follow-through. Proactive language transforms vague intentions into deliberate plans, turning aspiration into tangible results. Each word reflects a choice to act, creating momentum that propels us forward even when challenges arise. By consistently using proactive words, we reprogram our thinking, redirect our energy, and cultivate a life defined by intentional action rather than circumstance. Language becomes the bridge between thought and reality, and proactive words are the foundation for creating opportunity, influence, and meaningful impact. In the end, the words we choose are far more than expressions. They are the architects of our reality. Each phrase we speak, whether to ourselves or to others, carries the power to shape our thoughts, direct our actions, and determine the course of our lives. By embracing the language of proactivity, we reclaim the power that is always within us, transforming challenges into opportunities and obstacles into stepping stones. When we speak with intention, take responsibility for our choices, and focus on solutions rather than excuses, we create a life defined by deliberate action, resilience, and meaningful impact. Our words become commitments, our inner dialogue becomes guidance, and our daily actions become the manifestation of the life we choose to lead. In learning to speak proactively, we do more than communicate. We create, we influence, and we transform not only ourselves but the world around us, one word at a time. Thank you for your time. All the research we did was very extensive. If you want detailed research, go to description. Kindly follow this channel and subscribe for more educational content.